Hi Year 3, Mr Davis again. This video's about rivers. So far we've looked at the rivers in the world. We've tried to find those on maps, and we've looked at the rivers in the UK. So we know that basically rivers are more or less all over the world. But what we're going to look at, or try and look at, is the connection between rivers and people. So we know that there's rivers all around the world. Let me just move this for you there. On nearly every continent on Earth, and wherever there are rivers, we will find people. And here are some people on the river. Okay. So what I want us to think about is have a look at this in a little bit more detail. If you look at the next picture, this is a picture of the Nile River, taken from the International Space Station. Okay, and what you can see on here, if you look carefully, is this is the Nile that you can see running down here, and this is what we call the Nile Delta, where it spreads out to meet the Mediterranean Sea, which is here. But all this, because it's taken at night, all this brightness is lights that are shining at the side of the river. This bright bit here, I think, is Cairo in Egypt, which is the capital. So lots of people live in capital cities, and actually the pyramids are quite close to that city as well. Excuse me. So all these lights that we can see here mean that there are people. So these are the lights that are on people's houses, the lights that are on the shops, the lights that are on the supermarkets, and everything that is around this area. Okay, so there's a lot of people around the River Nile. Well, let's come a little bit closer to home. Let's have a look at the next picture, which is actually, this is the River Thames. And this is taken from an elevated position. I'm guessing that this is actually taken from the Shard. It looks about the right place for that. We've got the Tower Bridge here, and we've got the South Bank along here of the Thames. But if you look everywhere, just look in this section of the map here, lots of high-rise buildings. All the way along we can see the lights. We've got a long road here trailing along. We've got the railway line here as well. See cars on the road, the lights. So again, what we've got is a lot of people, right? A lot of people around a river. We've got the bridge so that people can get over, cars can get from one side to the other. Okay, so all set up because there are quite a lot of people around it. So what I want us to think about now is think about some questions. I'm going to move over to the other side of the screen here, like this. Okay, so what do I want you to think about? Well, why have humans chosen to make their homes close to the rivers? Okay, obviously there weren't thousands and thousands of people living next to the rivers at first, but they've built up that way, haven't they? So the more and more people have come to live near them. What is it about rivers that makes them important to people? Why do rivers help people? Why do the people go to the rivers? What is it that is so important about rivers for people? All right. I just want you to have a think really about this, because what I'd like you to do is on this page that you've got, I want you to use this as a mind map. I want you to gather some ideas of what you think rivers might be for about. And as you can see, I've put on some arrows here coming out where I will put my ideas. Obviously, you're not going to just draw squiggly lines, are you? No. This might be an idea that you've got, and it might be that you've got two ideas about that idea, so you would draw the lines coming off like that onto the screen. All right. So just want you to have a think about that, because what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause this video and I want you to have a think and to write down some of your ideas. I'll give you, well, if you pause the video, you've got as long as you like, haven't you? Let's do that for the time being then. Okay, so hopefully you've been having a think about that. But if you're struggling, why don't I give you some handy hints? I'll give you some clues. Let's see if these will help you. If you've not been able to come up with any ideas, here's some clues. that I've given you here. I've got some photographs that I want you to have a think about. What is this here? What am I showing you here? What's that a picture of? Alright? And what would that be used for? Let's have a look at the picture in the middle. What's this person doing here? What is it that's in the river that's going to help that person? What about this one? This is an old photograph, not only because it's in black and white, but simply because it's showing something that was always or used to be by rivers. Not as much these days, but what's happening? What are these boats for? What are the cranes for? Okay? If you've got some ideas from that, don't just write those down. Maybe that's going to help you as you move on to the next stage. So what I want you to do now, okay, I'd like you just to go back to this diagram and add any new ideas that you've got now, okay? So I'm going to pause the video again. You've got as long as you like to write as many ideas down as you can. Here we go, pausing again. Okay, so I hope you've been able to come up with some ideas using that last slide that we showed you with those photographs on. It may be that you've not been able to come up with any ideas. We'll see, but this next slide should be able to help you. It'll help you if you haven't got ideas, and it'll help tick off some of the ideas that you might have come up with. Okay, so let's have a look at the next slide. You might have come up with ideas like this. You might have written about transport. That's what that boat was for. Who's going to use that transport? What's that transport used for? What can you get from a river? Well, it's water, isn't it? So maybe that would be helpful for people who are making settlements in the going back into ancient history. What was that person in the middle of the screen hunting for? Why was he sticking that sharp stick, that spear, into the water? What's in the water that's going to help people? It might be a food source. What about energy? Well, we've all seen those massive water wheels, haven't we? With water cascading over the top, turning the wheels of that mill. That gives people energy to do jobs, different things to help make food, as an example. Farming. Maybe the water's necessary to water all the crops, and especially along the Nile. The Nile is famous for the farming that is very, very close to the river. And what about you going on holidays or fancying going for a boat ride? Maybe that's something that people can do with rivers, all connected with people. So it might be that some of these ideas will help you now. So what I want you to do, I've given you some more clues, or I've given you some ideas for you. Go back to your mind map now. I want you to add any additional ideas that you've got, or any different thoughts that you've had, and you can add those to your mind map. All this information gathering for our next stage when we look in a bit more detail at a river in the UK in some detail. All right. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this. Work hard and keep getting all that knowledge crammed into your brains. All right. See you soon. Mr. Davies signing off. Bye now.